The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Todd. Good morning, everybody. So I will call to order the Public Improvement Commission hearing of April 11th, 2024. Mr. Liming, would you please take the roll call?
Certainly. Would the representative from the Public Works Department please state their name for the record?
Yasha Franklin Hodge.
Property Management Department?
Here.
Inspectional Services?
Brian Ronan.
Water and Sewer Commission?
Lucy Brian.
Denise Devlin.
Disabilities Commission?
Sarah Leon.
We do not have anybody from BTD today, but we do have a quorum.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Todd. So our first item of business today is hearing minutes 1 at the request of the Public Improvement Commission staff, the acceptance of the minutes of the PIC hearing held on March 28th, 2024. We hear a motion to approve the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the PIC hearing on March 28th, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstained? So moved. On to hearing minutes number 2. At the request of the Public Improvement Commission staff, the acceptance of the minutes of the PIC hearing held on April 1st, 2024. And just for the record, this was a in-person meeting held related to the Harvard Commons betterment petitions that will be coming up on the agenda. It was held at the Brook Charter School on April 1st, during which the commission heard from members of the community and supervised a vote of community members related to the betterment. Do I hear a motion to approve hearing minutes number 2?
I make a motion to approve the hearing minutes of the PIC hearing on April 1st, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstained? So moved. All right, on to public hearing continued. Number 1, on a petition by SFH 48 Boylston Street LLC for the acceptance of a pedestrian easement adjacent to LaGrange Street, public way, Boston proper, located on its northerly side at address number 41, generally between Tamworth Street and Washington Street. New business on March 14th, public hearing on March 28th, as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Pedestrian Easement Plan, 41 LaGrange Street, Boston, Chinatown, one sheet dated October 24th, 2023. Would the proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, and let us know if there have been any updates or changes since your last hearing.
Sure, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner, members of the commission and staff. My name is Carla Chaffee. I'm an attorney at Nixon Peabody. I'm here on behalf of the Planning Office of Urban Affairs and St. Francis House, who are the proponents of the 41 LaGrange project. This is an important affordable housing project in the city that's had a long road to get here, but we're hoping to start construction very soon. We'll be developing 126 units of affordable housing with tenants ranging incomes from 30% to 80% AMI. The only change in the plan since the last time we were here was a request to move a minor note regarding the pedestrian easement area, not calling it out as a patio, because indeed there's no intention to have street furniture there. So that was the only change to the plan submission. I'm wondering if Jeff is here, our civil engineer.
Yes, I am.
Okay, great, thanks, Jeff. I don't think there's much for you to go over. I can share the plan if the commission would like. But again, there has not been many changes from the last meeting.
Todd, do you want us to flip through the plan, or do we have this on the record from the previous meeting?
No, Carla or Jeff, if one of you can display the easement plan and just kind of give a real brief overview of that, and then we'll move on to the specific repairs with the next action.
Here I'm showing the limits of that easement at the entry to the building.
All right. Commissioners, any questions, comments? PIC staff or members of the public?
I will use this opportunity to remind everybody, if you wish to ask questions or add testimony, please use the raised hand function at the bottom of your screen. It's under the reactions tab. I do not have any comments on this one, and I do not see any public testimony either.
All right, with that, do I hear a motion to approve public hearing continued number 1?
I make a motion to approve a petition by SFH 48 Boylston Street LLC for the acceptance of a pedestrian easement adjacent to LaGrange Street as further read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. On to public hearing continued number 2 on a petition by SFH 48 Boylston Street LLC for the making of specific repairs within LaGrange Street Public Way, Boston proper, located on its northerly side at address number 41, generally between Tamworth Street and Washington Street, consisting of curb and sidewalk reconstruction, as well as new street lighting infrastructure and the removal of one driveway curb cut. Was new business on 3/14/2024, at a public hearing on 3/28/2024, as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division Specific Repairs Plan, 41 LaGrange Street, Boston, one sheet dated March 5th, 2024. The proponents please reintroduce themselves and briefly walk us through this particular action.
Hello, thank you. Again, this is Carla Chaffee at Nixon Peabody on behalf of the Planning Office of Urban Affairs in St. Francis House. Very little has changed to this plan since we were before you last. I will pass it off to Jeff to introduce himself and walk through the specific repair plan.
Jeffrey Pilat, Samieris Consultants. We are looking for we're petitioning for specific repairs for about 88 linear feet of concrete sidewalk and closing of an existing curb, associated utilities, and that covers it.
All right, commissioners, any questions or comments? All right, hearing none, PIC staff or members of the public?
All set on this, thanks.
All right, do I hear a motion to approve public hearing continued number 2?
I make a motion to approve a petition by SFH 48 Boylston Street LLC for the making of specific repairs within LaGrange Street as further read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
All right, on to public hearing continued number 3 on a petition by the Harvard Commons abutters for a roadway betterment to upgrade the entirety of Senator Bowling Circle private way, West Roxbury, located between Harvard Street, Donald Road, and Harvard Street, Brookview Street, to be a public way. New business on February 8th. First public hearing on March 4th was continued to March 28th, continued again to April 1st, and we're now hearing it again today. We don't have proponents exactly in our normal form for this. So Todd, I'm going to turn it over to you if you would kind of give a brief overview of the process that led us to this place and updates related to the vote that was conducted on April 1st.
Certainly. So this is a set of private ways, excuse me, in the Mattapan, West Roxbury, Dorchester neighborhoods, kind of on the line. The residents first approached us back in around 2018, asking what would need to happen in order to upgrade these private ways to be public ways. We do have a relatively standard, though lengthy process that is involved in that type of thing. I'm showing just a general overview of these streets right now. In very brief terms, what needs to happen is we first receive a petition from a set of the abutters, which signifies significant interest in exploring this type of possibility. That triggers, or that allows the city to expend the time and effort into conducting a field survey of the existing conditions, formulate engineered plans to determine what reconstruction would need to happen in order to bring these private ways up to current public way standards. There's a cost estimate that is associated with those engineered plans. And then that cost estimate is divvied up amongst both the city and the abutters. The city covers half of those reconstruction costs, and the other half of those costs are divided up amongst all of the abutting property owners, which is dependent on linear frontage and some other factors. We've held I don't even know how many meetings with the butters dating back to 2018 up until just last week to discuss all of these possibilities and the options and ramifications. We did hold a formal vote or we oversaw, I should say, a formal voting process of the abutters last week on April 1st. That was held in the evening at 6 o'clock at the Brook Charter High School on American Legion Highway. We did see a very significant percentage of abutting property owners participate in that voting process and those conversations. We heard from folks who were both opposed to these potential upgrades as well as folks who were very much for these potential upgrades. And I'll just give a very quick rundown of the results of those voting processes. So Senator Bowling Circle specifically was actually broken up into two segments, as you can see on your screen here. Segment A and Segment C, that was done for traffic circulation purposes. But for Segment A, we had 4 total abutters. All 4 of those abutters did cast a vote, and all 4 of those votes were in favor of upgrading these roadways to be public ways. For Segment C, we had 32 total abutters. We had a total of 31 votes cast. Of those 31, 24 were in favor of upgrading the roadways, and 7 were opposed. Not including in those numbers are, I'm sorry, that's for Stoneway. I'll get to that in a moment. I will mention that at the April 1st hearing, we did a very quick count of the votes that we had received, and at that point we had declared that we had 1 fewer vote than we actually did. We went back and recounted everything to make sure that we didn't miss anything. At the meeting on the 1st, we had quoted 24 in favor votes and 6 opposed, but that has been updated to 24 in favor and 7 opposed, which results in approximately, where am I? 77.4% of the participating votes voted in favor to upgrade these public ways. So that's a pretty substantial number.
Thank you very much, Todd. I appreciate that overview. And I will just sort of add on, as chair of the commission, I think there have been quite a few public meetings related to this. We received quite a few letters of comment from the, Todd, I think your screen share is still up. I think we've received quite a few letters of comment from members of the community. Our goal in this process has been to be responsive to the mix of voices and perspectives within the community, recognizing that there is a diversity of opinion about this betterment amongst people who live in the neighborhood. We have worked in good faith to try to conduct a transparent process, to make sure that all voices have the chance to be heard, to make sure that all commission members have the chance, either in person or via minutes from the in-person meetings, to hear the full breadth of perspectives. Ultimately, I think we have chosen, based on all of that listening and the feedback and input that we have gotten, to proceed with a vote today, recognizing that there was a substantial majority of participating residents who were in favor of us proceeding and approving or voting on a betterment. There have been some voices in the community that have asked for further continuance, and I think upon consideration of the totality of the comments that we have received, we feel that it is appropriate to move forward. So, I think I just want to kind of acknowledge that the commission is this is a situation where there are folks who have opposed our approach here or the decision to advance this and have let us know that. The commissioners have all received those comments that we have seen, but we believe that this is a fair and reasonable path forward given the feedback that we've gotten and the process that we've undertaken here. So with that, I will open it up to see if there are any comments or questions from members of the commission. All right, hearing none, PIC staff or members of the public who would like to speak on this.
I've said my piece. I do not see anybody here. Just would like to check with Ashley and Chris and roommate 1 to see if there's anybody who showed up in person.
We've got no one in person up here for the Harvard Commons betterment.
Very good. All set.
All right, seeing none, do I hear a motion to approve public hearing continued number 3?
I make a motion to approve public hearing commission agenda item 3 to approve a roadway betterment in the area of Senator Bowling Circle as further read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. On to public hearing continued number 4 on a petition by the Harvard Commons abutters for a roadway betterment to upgrade the entirety of Snowden Way, private way, West Roxbury, located between number 7, Senator Bowling Circle, and number 45, Senator Bowling Circle, to be a public way. New business from February 8th, public hearings on March 4th, March 28th, and April 1st. Todd, would you just provide a very quick recitation of what's going on, and then we can see if there's comments.
Certainly. So again, I won't go through the same spiel all over again. I'll just pull that overview back up really quickly so you can see it. This is in regards to segment B, right in the middle, the entirety of Snowden Way. For Snowden Way, we received a total of 17 votes out of 27 total abutters. Of those 17 votes, 15 were in favor and 2 were opposed. Not included in that 17 are actually 2 votes which we did receive, but we consider to be invalid. The first was a write-in vote, which had both the for and opposed lines filled out, basically saying they wanted to move forward and they don't want it to move forward. So unfortunately, we had to throw that one out. And then also we received a second vote from who was in favor from one resident, but that was received late after the April 1st hearing. So that is also not included in the total. But again, 15 for, 2 opposed. That comes to a percentage of 88.2% of the participating votes voted in favor of the upgrade.
Thank you very much, Todd. Commissioners, questions, comments? Members of the public or any additional PIC staff comments?
I see none.
All right. Do I hear a motion to approve public hearing continued number 4?
I make a motion to approve public hearing continued agenda item 4 to approve a petition by the Harvard Commons abutters for roadway betterment in the area of Snowden Way as further read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. All right, thank you very much. On to public hearing number 1 on a petition by 30 Park Street Condominium Trust for the making of specific repairs within the following public ways in Charlestown, consisting of new and relocated street trees, landscaping, planters, and fencing. Park Street on its northwesterly side at address number 30, southwest of Warren Street on its westerly side between Park Street and Henley Street, Henley Street on its southerly side west of Warren Street. This was new business on March 28th, as shown on a plan entitled City of Boston Public Works Department Engineering Division, Specific Repair, 30 Park Street, Henley Street, and Warren Street, Charlestown, one sheet dated March 17th, 2023. Would the petitioners please introduce themselves, their affiliations, give us a very brief reintroduction to the project, and let us know about any changes you have made or comments in response to what you heard at the last hearing. Oh, we cannot hear you. We can see your screen, but still no audio.
Hello?
Yeah, there we go. Now we can hear you.
Thank you. This is Ken Flynn here, the proponent. I purchased this property back in 1987. It's a small parcel of urban renewal that was developed through the BRA, and there's condos in the back of it that are not involved with this, but they're separate situation. So I'd just like to run through what I bought into back in '88 and what City Square really looked like, and then we'll go through the plan as soon as we get some pictures. This is what it looked like in 1988 as the 89, 90, as the construction of City Square was going on. I had purchased it, I moved my insurance business in there, and it stayed that way for about 10 years. And we keep moving on to the next one, there we go. After they get through tearing down, you can see Route 93 in the background there. But this is what it looked like after they tore down all the local stuff. This, the white building over here, is the Ironside Grill. At the time, it's been closed for the last 4 or 5 years. But this opened up the whole area. And this was directly across the street, the off-ramp off of the Tolbert Bridge, which was across the street from my front door at the time. That's one picture of it being torn down, so all the cars would go down. There was a lot of, parcels of automobile stuff. And at one point, as they kept moving along with the project, they repaved the sidewalk out front with new concrete and opened up the whole area there. And then they decided the whole intersection of Warren Street was much too wide. It wasn't going to work that way. So they decided to put a heat island out front of me, and then so they did that with the hot top, and eventually they pay a red brick over the hot top and a whole new concrete sidewalk all the way up Park Street. It turned it into what it is now. There's another version of the ramps coming down from across from me. And that brings us to where we are today. So since back around 1990, we've been trying to get trees to grow there, and they just don't. They've been replaced and they just die. So I decided to see if we could put a planter, a 6-inch and high granite planter along the curbing that's presently there, outlined in the black dots. Dig down and put some clean soil in, and put 2 new trees in the front, and it's the same with the left side over here where the black dots are, put 1 new tree there. So we'd be taking down 2 trees that are mostly dead. They've been changed many, many times since 1988, and put in 3 new trees in a planter situation with a small 13-inch high railing fence such as this one. This particular one was put in by Mass Highway when they did over City Square. That's located outside 7 Park Street. I'm at 30 Park Street. I was supposed to get something similar to that, but it never got done. A lot of things didn't get done, but that particular one did because it faced the park. So that's similar to what we're looking to do based on the plan that my architect, Tony Pisani, has put together for us, and we're presenting today. So, landscape plan. So, do we have any questions on the plan?
Commissioners, questions? All right, hearing none, PIC staff or members of the public.
No, we're all set.
All right. With that, do I hear a motion to approve public hearing number 1?
I make a motion to approve a petition by 30 Park Street Condominium Trust for making specific repairs in the area of Park Street, Warren Street, and Henley Street, as further read into the record by the chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And moving on to the new business section of our agenda, 1318 River Street, Business Street, Hyde Park, specific repairs on a petition by Hyde Park Tracks Realty LLC, new business item number 1. Would the proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, and give us an overview of the project and the proposed actions here?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commission staff. Joe Connolly of Howard Stein Hudson, civil engineer on this project and representing HP Tracks Realty LLC. I'm joined today by the project attorney, John Pulcini, as a spectator. John met with the Hyde Park Neighborhood Association last week to give them an update on the project and answer any questions after that meeting. And furthermore, this morning, we received support from the HPNA and Sustainable Hyde Park representative Charles Dumont on the project. So again, our site is located at the corner of River Street and Business Street, west of Hyde Park's downtown area and the MBTA's Hyde Park Commuter Rail Station. The redevelopment project itself involves the demolition of an existing automotive garage and the construction of a new 4-story residential building with 950 square feet of retail space on the ground floor, along with covered resident parking, providing 30 spaces with free street trees and permeable pavers in the furnishing zone, along with full sidewalk reconstruction up to city standards. The business street improvements include closing one curb cut along Business Street, while modifying another to serve the proposed garage. Through comments from multiple city agencies, we've also incorporated street lighting improvements, relocating one and installing another, as well as adding fire retention areas in the furnishing zone. This plan also shows the updated crossing, the raised pedestrian crossing across Business Street per the city's direction. And with that, does anyone have any questions?
Commissioners, questions? All right, hearing none, PIC staff or members of the public?
I think we're all set with this.
All right, will you be ready for your public hearing in 2 weeks on April 25th?
What about?
All right, excellent. Thank you very much. We'll see you back here then.
Great, thank you.
All right, on to our next item, new business 2, Bussey Street, Walter Street, South Street, West Roxbury, specific repairs on a petition by the Arnold Arboretum of Harvard University. The petitioners please introduce themselves, their affiliations, and talk us through what actions you're proposing to do.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chairman. My name is Danny Schisler. I'm Head of Operations and Project Management at the Arnold Arboretum. I'm joined by Niche Engineering, our civil engineers for the project, and Michael Van Valkenburg Associates, our landscape architects for the project. I'm going to present a brief slideshow to give you an overview of this really important project, and then I'll turn it over to our engineers to walk through the PIC plan that was submitted. So the entrance improvement project is an ongoing initiative at the Arnold Arboretum to greatly improve the conditions at our many entrances across the park. We are a 281-acre botanical garden in Boston, Massachusetts, Most of our landscape is owned by the Boston Parks Department and managed by Harvard University through our indenture, our long-term indenture with the city. I am a Harvard employee, and most of the employees at the Arboretum are Harvard employees. This is a donor-funded project that will greatly improve accessibility, welcoming, wayfinding, and landscape aesthetics at many entrances that have kind of fallen into disrepair over the years. So I won't walk through all of the project goals, but you can see on the left-hand side, we're really interested in improving accessibility, removing impervious surface. Many of these entrances have become de facto parking lots over the years, making it unsafe mixing areas for pedestrians, cyclists, and vehicles. We'd like to get the parking out of the entrances. We'd like to reopen historic Olmsted gates designed by H.H. Richardson that are, some of them currently welded shut and unusable. And we want to renew the historic infrastructure as much as we can while expanding landscape planting. And just to note that the Boston Parks Department, through our indenture, does own the infrastructure, the gates, the sidewalks, the roadways, and what we are proposing is to renew much of that infrastructure through donor funding, as I mentioned. Here are the 5 gates that we're looking to tackle first. These were chosen because they are in direct proximity to environmental justice neighborhoods, as well as ongoing city and state infrastructure projects. So the idea is to dovetail our project with these other projects and create new access corridors. There are also multiple entrances here that are part of the Rosendale Gateway Path project, which is a 1.5-mile shared use path and extension of the Southwest Corridor to Rosy Village by way of the Arboretum. So as you can see, the condition of most of these entrances, they are just not as grand and as welcoming as they used to be when they were designed as carriage roads 150 years ago. The 2 that we're going to be submitting today are Walter Street and Poplar Gate. I'm very pleased to say we have funding for Poplar Gate. It is out to bid right now, and we're looking to start construction in August of this year with a ribbon cutting next spring. Walter Street Gate, we're currently fundraising for construction, and Washington Street Gate, another priority gate, which we won't be submitting today, is our next priority gate with partial funding. So we'll hope to start construction on that in 2025. So I talked about project goals briefly, but I just want to assure everyone we are looking back into the Arboretum's history to make sure that we are honoring Olmsted's vision in creating the Arboretum and laying it out. And it's one of the best preserved Olmsted landscapes, and certainly a jewel within Boston and the Emerald Network, the Emerald Necklace. So we want to carry many of Olmsted's principles forward. And those of you who know Olmsted know how democratic he was. And MVVA has really honored his legacy by thinking about these 3 design principles, creating space for folks to gather at the entrance threshold, to connect with friends and family in areas with increased visitor amenities, and then to embark into the Arboretum and have all of the kind of wayfinding and support needed to make your journey into the 281 acres of the Arboretum. We've done lots of community outreach over the last 2 years through concept and design development. We had 2 open house events and an online survey, collected hundreds of comments. We've had dozens, if not hundreds, of listening sessions with city and state agencies, including PIC. I'll just walk through some renderings of the entrances that we're submitting today. Here's an aerial view of Walter Street Gate. You can see what was once a carriage road entrance into the Arboretum. One of the original Arboretum entrances is now a parking lot with a gate that's welded shut and a single pedestrian portal on the left-hand side that is really not ADA compliant or welcoming. Here's a view of the current conditions. You can see Bussey Brook is in close proximity to this entrance, the Conifer Collection to the north, Ginkgo Collections in Hemlock Hill. This is a really wonderful area of the Arboretum, but it is not celebrated by this entrance in the way it could be. So our proposed design gets rid of the pavement outside of the entrance and creates a ginkgo bed, a ginkgo grove, and greatly improved hardscape, as well as a seating area. We will open the vehicular gates and make those the means of entrance for visitors. We've slightly realigned the roadway to get it further away from the brook so we can reestablish herbaceous plantings and tree plantings in that buffer between the brook and the paved pathway. And then we've added bicycle amenities as well. We're working with the city to improve parking conditions on Bussey Street, which is in pretty poor shape, and the parking is is kind of in a tough situation, so that's a high priority for us as well. And some renderings of this. This is the view from Weld Hill across Walter Street towards the entrance. You can't really see that there's really a gate there at all right now. What we're proposing is to open that up with a few tree removals within the park and to establish these ginkgo groves outside of the entrance and really improve view sheds into the stunning conifer collection just within the gate. And as you're getting closer to the gate, this is what we're currently looking at. And this is what we will be looking at, restoring the cobblestone gutters that have been paved over throughout the Arboretum, but are sitting underneath the pavement ready to be restored, adding some seating, multiple planting areas. And improving the views leaving as well. When you leave this exit, you see the senior rehab building. Wasn't there when Olmsted designed the Arboretum, and while we can't block it entirely, we are slightly reorienting this exit walkway to orient you more towards Weld Hill and block some of those views of the roadway. I also want to show Poplar Gate. Here's an aerial view of Poplar Gate, and this is at the intersection of South Street and Bussey Street. This is an entrance into Peters Hill that's used by many folks from Roslindale. The roadway situations in this area are not ideal. There is no sidewalk or means of biking or walking safely up South Street, yet hundreds of people do this every week. So we're working with the city on seeing about improving those conditions as well. This intersection will be a very important node for transportation in the future. As part of the Roslindale Gateway Path, we have designed a connector boardwalk coming through Bussey Brook Meadow and landing at this intersection. We're currently fundraising for that to advance design and construction of that boardwalk project. So just keep in mind, this will be another means of connectivity at this intersection, multimodal connectivity. But for our project, we're looking to just improve this entrance area here, right at the gate, by improving the hardscape, adding plantings, and adding seating along the roadway. Here's an existing view from Bussey Brook Meadow of that gateway. Again, this is one of our welded shut vehicular gates, so we can't even open it if we want to. The gate's in great need of restoration, and the pillars themselves as well. Here is our proposed view from the future boardwalk, which is again not part of this project, but will hopefully be installed in the future. And you can see we're opening our vehicular gate. We're adding beautiful new signage, improved hardscape, gutters, stormwater management, and greatly expanding planting outside of the gate. And within the gate, a view walking down the Oak Alley, down that Poplar Hill Road towards the gateway. We'll be aiming to restore that roadway and the cobblestone gutters and add seating as part of a future phase working with the Boston Parks Department. But just wanted to give you a sense of what we envision for this corridor, which, as I mentioned before, will be part of the Roslindale Gateway Path project. So hopefully a new bicycle and pedestrian corridor for people making their way from Rosley Village to Forest Hills. So that is my presentation. I'll kick things over to Nitch, and they will share the PIC plan.
Thank you, Danny, for that introduction, and thank you, commissioners and staff. I just want to make sure, can you see the PIC screen?
We can.
Thank you. All right, so the rendering is really helpful, so thank you, Danny. Now looking at the specific repairs plan. Looking at Walter Street here at the intersection of Walter and Bussey, we are proposing, as Danny described, this new ginkgo grove within the property, and then within the public way, a new concrete sidewalk with curb ramps and a sliver of exposed aggregate concrete within the public way that matches what was presented in those renderings. We've worked with street lighting to coordinate these new light poles that will be installed. There will be 3 new light poles and the new handholds to provide power to those. We'll be maintaining this existing light pole at the edge. We've been working with Boston Water and Sewer pretty closely, as there are a number of utilities in the way that will be relined and rerouted by Boston Water and Sewer, and we'll be installing this new catch basin to align with the new curb alignment that will connect into the storm drain main in Walter Street. And that is actually it for the improvements within the public way. For Walter Street, I'll hop over to Poplar next, and then we can go over any questions or comments. So at Poplar, what we're looking at the intersection of South and Bussey is this new entrance that Danny had described, a new concrete sidewalk and new curbing, as you can see here in blue. We'll have a new pedestrian ramp that crosses over to this existing ramp across Bussey Street. We've designed a mountable curb here for this interim condition, excuse me, where this will allow bikers and people with strollers to be able to cross the street and get onto access the gate. And this is an interim condition until that raised crosswalk that Danny had shown in that rendering is designed. So we've graded and designed this in consideration for that future condition, but in the current day conditions, we'll have a mountable curb as shown here, a kind of splayed edge just to make it easier for bikes and strollers to make their way over. There are existing light poles here that we'll be keeping, so no new light poles proposed. There's an existing hand pole that will just be reoriented here to align with the new curb layout. And that is it for the extent of improvements that we're proposing in the public way at South and Bussey. So I'll now ask if there are any questions from the commission staff or anybody else.
Thank you both for that presentation and for what looks like a lot of great work to think about future of access to the Arboretum. Can I ask, has there been any exploration of use of raised crosswalks at any of these intersection points? I thought I saw in the rendering of the South Street boardwalk crossing that looks to be a raised crosswalk, and I know that that might be coming as part of the boardwalk project instead. But there are a few other crosswalks here, and I know that some of these streets see quite a bit of excess speeding. I also know that you have many families that are using some of these crosswalks to access the Arboretum or connect between different parts of it. So I'm wondering if that idea has been explored at all as part of this project.
Yes, thank you for that question. We have thought extensively about the Poplar Gate intersection, and we had our design teams for both the Poplar Gate entrance and the boardwalk project coordinate on what would be the best design for a crossing there, if not a re-envisioning of the entire intersection to make it much safer and to calm traffic. We landed on a raised crosswalk to be installed when the boardwalk is installed. Of course, we'd have to work with the city on who would be doing that and getting it permitted. But we think that would be a great approach there. Even better would be a tabled intersection here, but that would take, I think, a lot more coordination between the city. We would love to work with the city on that if there's an appetite for that kind of improvement. In the past, we had been approached about a reconstruction of Bussey Street, and we had hoped that the intersection improvements here could be considered as part of a re-envisioning of Bussey Street, as well as traffic coming along Bussey Street. Those of you who use that street know that traffic moves quite rapidly down that street as a street that's kind of bisecting a parkway. Maybe it shouldn't be going that fast. At the other end of Bussey Street, at Walter Street Gate, again, I think raised crosswalk could be used. That's a busier intersection, so we haven't really talked extensively about raised crosswalks there, but at the Bussey Gate entrance to the Arboretum, we have had discussions with Public Works about the crossing between the two Arboretum entrances and whether a raised crosswalk could go there. And I think they were looking into a concept for that, but that project hasn't advanced any further. So we would love to see a raised crosswalk there as well, if that could happen.
Got it. Thank you for that, and I appreciate the exploration of this. And I want to make sure that, especially for a facility as important as the Arboretum, that we're prioritizing accessibility and safety in that area. So I'll commit on behalf of my various teams at the city to continue to work with you on that. in some of these future phase projects and additional reconstruction that we may do for any of the streets involved here. So thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, other questions, comments?
I want to thank the team for the presentation as well for meeting with my commission numerous times over the past probably year and a half and having very productive conversations. I do understand that we might have one outstanding comments about the reciprocal ramps and a commitment to either reconstruct those or to pursue a variance for those. Just want to confirm with the team as well as making notes on the plans to indicate the intention or which direction the team plans to go in.
Yes, thank you, Sarah. The ramps that are out of compliance, the reciprocal ramps that are out of compliance, as we've discussed, are very new ramps. They were built in 2018 and 2019 by the city. It's only one aspect of the ramps that is very slightly out of compliance. And as we're trying to keep the budget in control, since this is a donor-funded project, we're seeking a variance. If we cannot get a variance on these ramps, we are committed to rebuilding the ramps in full compliance, and we can certainly make note of that on the plan.
Thank you so much.
All right, commissioners, other questions? EIC staff or members of the public?
I think we're all set on this.
All right, excellent. Well, seeing nothing else, we'd be ready for your public hearing on April 25th.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much. We will see you then.
Thank you all so much. Bye.
On to our next item, a new business 3, 1 Summer Street, Bedford Street, Chauncey Street, Boston proper, granted location on a petition by Marathon Fiber Networks, LLC. Would proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, and walk us through what you are proposing to do here. If you are speaking, we cannot hear you.
Oh, apologize for that. This is Bill Conway, Axis Engineering, representing Marathon Fiber Networks. We are proposing to intercept the existing level 3 joint trench duct bank at the intersection of Kingston Street and Bedford Street, proposing 6 4-inch conduits to a proposed 4x4 manhole, continuing on Bedford Street placing an additional 4x4 manhole and continuing to the existing level 3 manhole 0515-3902 at 1 Summer Street. The purpose of this proposed work is the existing ducts along Chauncey Street have either collapsed or have been damaged, and we need the additional space to provide service to the data center at 1 Summer Street.
Got it. Commissioners, questions, comments?
I just wanted to confirm with the team that the impacts from this construction won't affect any on-street accessible parking spaces, and if they do, please keep in touch with our office on relocations of those parking spaces.
Yes, no problem.
And can the team confirm that any impacted pavement markings will be fully restored and restriped as part of this work?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Commissioners, any other questions? EIC staff or members of the public?
I think we're all set on this.
All right. Seeing nothing else, would you be ready for your public hearing in 2 weeks on April 25th?
Yes, we will.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
On to our final item, new business number 4, Jones Avenue Footway, Dorchester, discontinuance on a joint petition by the City of Boston Public Works Department and the Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority. Would the proponents please introduce themselves, their affiliations, and walk us through what is being proposed here?
Hey, good morning, Chairman, members of the Commission. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can.
Yes.
Hi, Jen. Thanks.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. My name is Jeff Alexis with the Public Works Engineering Division, joined here by my colleague Dan Murphy. We are petitioning for the discontinuance of the Jones Avenue pedestrian bridge. To provide a little background information on this project, this pedestrian bridge that goes over the MBTA commuter rail line was demolished 2 years ago due to its state of disrepair. As it would have been a significant investment for the city to repair this lightly traveled pedestrian bridge, instead of repairing it, the Public Works Department coordinated with the Jones Avenue community to make roadway and sidewalk improvements. As part of our mitigation, we are proposing to provide better accessibility and safety improvements to this neighborhood. Lastly, I want to mention that due to public safety issues, we are proposing to discontinue this public right-of-way, which will result in 3 separate parcels. I will share my screen so that everyone can see. Right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
All right, thank you. So these 3 parcels, parcels 1 and 3 will be owned by the City of Boston, and parcel 2 will be owned by, of course, the MBTA, which is where their infrastructure is. Public Works is in active discussions to actually transfer the ownership of our parcels 1 and 3, to the Mayor's Office of Housing for potential future development. That's all I have. I don't know if anyone else, Dan, or wants to share any information.
Any other?
No, I don't have anything else to offer on this. I'm just getting familiar with it.
All right. Commissioners, questions, comments? Jeff, I will ask one, which is, can you perhaps explain to us why? I understand there would have been significant expense to repairing this bridge and hence its demolition. Can you provide us a little bit of insight on why the bridge why the city is not pursuing a reconstruction of the bridge?
So in terms of the pedestrian volumes for the bridge, from my understanding, the city didn't see it as a benefit, Public Works didn't see it as a benefit to reconstruct the bridge. I believe it was going to cost the city roughly around $7 million. So with that, we decided to have a conversation with the community where we can just make improvements worth around $7 million to the surrounding streets of this neighborhood, and I think that was the preferred option to move forward with.
I see. Okay. My recollection was that there were other concerns that we heard from the community related to the ways in which the bridge had been used, and that it was not just serving as a pedestrian link, but was also a site of some amount of problematic activity on occasion. I also, correct me if I'm wrong, but the original bridge was not compliant with Americans with Disabilities Act requirements, and is that correct?
That is true. It was not an accessible bridge in terms of its infrastructure. But then also, yes, there were a number of public safety issues that arose as part of this bridge. It was being used, for illegal activity, people loitering, amongst other things. And then, of course, when the bridge was actually demolished, there were other public safety issues where kids, for the most part, were I don't know. I don't know the easiest way to say this, but they were putting obstructions along the rails of the rail line, so of the train. So I mean, the city just took it upon ourselves to make to close off this area so that people cannot access it. But then also the intention would be for us to transfer these parcels so that they can be developed in the future, whether the parcel that's adjacent to parcel 1, which is our property, would go to the Department of Housing, or the Mayor's Office of Housing, in order for them to develop a house on there, or the other parcel 3, would just go to either one of the properties, one of the adjacent properties, or the 3 adjacent properties. That's something that'll be discussed in the future. But ideally, the intent is to make better use of this space than we currently are using it.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Before we go to public testimony, commissioners, any other questions or comments on this? All right. Hearing none, I do believe we have somebody in the hearing room who's wishing to speak. If you can just, sir, if you can just state your name and then please go right ahead.
Hi, good morning. My name is Joseph Snow. I am actually the owner of 28 Barlow Avenue, and I also own the 30 Barlow Avenue. That Jones Avenue footbridge actually sat inside of my yard for the better part of 30 years. I bought 28 Barlow Avenue in '94, and I bought 30 Barlow Avenue in '96. I was the one who cooperated with the engineering department and then allowed them to actually put the equipment in my yard so they could dismantle the bridge. In terms of any development there, that's a very small parcel of land. It's only a walkway. So I'm thinking it's probably maybe 1,000 square feet. There will be no house there. I'm here today because I own 30 Barlow Avenue, which is a 4,700 square foot lot, and I'm asking that the city allow me to purchase the footbridge, to purchase the land that the footbridge was on, to make that part of my yard. So that would probably increase my lot by about 800 to 1,000 square feet. But the only thing I can think of in terms of any development there would be, maybe somebody might want to put a garden there. But for the most part, I've taken care of that property. I've cleaned up the MBTA's footbridge for 30 years. People used to come over that bridge and throw all kinds of trash and stuff in my yard. The property that's to the right of that footbridge is actually owned by the city of Boston. So there is no other butter in the back of that property or the front of it. So I am the director butter, and there's no one else that has any legal authority to that piece of land. So I'm here just asking for me to be able to merge that strip of land into my current property.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Appreciate that testimony. And thank you for all you've done to help maintain this space over the years and for your support from the city as we've done the construction work here. So I'll let Todd jump in if I misstate anything here, but my understanding is that the action that's proposed today, this discontinuance, is the first step to any land disposition that might take place here. So we would, as the Public Improvement Commission, discontinue this as public right-of-way, because as long as it remains public right-of-way, nobody's doing anything else with the land. And then I believe that the typical process in a situation like this is for the ownership of the property to be transferred to the Mayor's Office of Housing, which is typically the agency that handles surplus property and dispositions and such. And then they have a process whereby they review any property and figure out a disposition strategy based on kind of what its potential value is, what it could do, how it could be used, to what potential of other interest and concern is. So I think for the interest in this is definitely noted and something that we can convey to the Mayor's Office of Housing at the conclusion of this process, and then we would make that connection so that you can work with them to continue the discussion about potentially acquiring the land. Todd, did I get that right?
Yeah, for the most part, we've been in discussions with MOH for quite a while about this property. So, Mr. Snow, we're happy to put you in touch with the folks over there at MOH once this process is seeing its way through, and ultimately it'll be up to them to determine what the best use of this land is.
Do you have any idea how long that process will take?
No idea. Once the discontinuance has been approved, we'll strive to convey to housing relatively quickly.
Yeah.
But then they're, what they're going to determine to do, I can't commit to anything in that regard.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
All right. Any other comments, questions from members of the public, PAC staff, commissioners? All right, hearing none, will the proponents be ready for their public hearing in 2 weeks on April 25th?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, awesome. We will see you then. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Commissioner.
Yep. And with that, do I hear a motion to conclude this meeting?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstain? So moved. Thank you all very much. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.